is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome again to another edition of the Ash Chat podcast. We are here once again with the Alma de Hombre Society at Mickey Blake's in Orange, our home base. We got a special guest today, Nick Goss. We're going to get into all that. And howdy, gentlemen. How are we feeling today?
What's good, Dave?
Everybody's doing good.
Doing great.
Cool, good. I remember to turn everyone's mic on. That is a good start. Nick, welcome. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
Cool. I'm gonna ask you to pull the mic a little bit closer to your face just to catch you up a little bit. But
there you go.
How's that?
Oh, now we can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Nice.
Cool. So, Nick, for those who don't know, including anyone at the table, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of background. You are a broker.
I'm a dirty cigar broker. I feel like broker is just such a harsh word, but I haven't found any other word that works. So yes, I am.
We can help you figure out how.
By the end of this podcast, we might have
I've
a few.
been called many names. I'll settle with broker. Broker works.
All right. As a broker, what are some of the brands that you represent? Today, I noticed we're smoking HVC.
We're doing HVC. I also do Espinosa, Black Label, a few others. But yeah.
Awesome. Cappy, how are you?
I am well, my friend. I am well. Living life.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. So how long have you been a broker?
Too long. 2017.
17. Okay.
2017. So what's that make?
Almost 8
I
years.
can't do math. Almost 8
years?
Wow.
Yeah, I've been in the industry.
Seems longer.
Almost in the industry for a couple of days. Time goes by fast when you're having fun.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, were you always a broker, or did you start out as a rep?
No,
How did you fall in?
So I worked at a shop for about a decade. I left there. Honestly, I was like, well, nobody was looking for in-house. So I said, screw it. I'll become a broker. And I told myself, well, try it for a year. And, if it takes off, great. If not, it's something I can add to my resume. So this was just supposed to be like a resume blurb.
Oh,
But here I am still.
And what were you looking to go into that you were going to use it for a resume blurb?
Oh, I have no idea. Cool. I'm kind of a bullshit artist, so I could make it apply to anything.
Fair enough.
I found out when I was in college, they explained to me what a pseudoscience was. I'm like, pseudoscience. So really, if you make a good argument, that means it's true? Yeah, that's pseudoscience. Oh, I like this.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right. And have you always repped for the labels that you have, or has that changed or evolved?
It changes. It changes and evolves. What I try to look for is I try to work with good people. I came from retail. Bill understands. It's a loving relationship, but sometimes it can be an abusive relationship. I was doing 70 hours a week, coming in on my only day off, because that would literally make my next day easier.
Exactly. I have the same deal going on.
I work for this guy who was like Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants. I swear to God. So when I left, my buddy Johnny Hart, who was a good friend of mine, he was the Jewish state rep and Altadis before that. And he was kind of like my Obi-Wan for the first year and a half or so. And he goes, listen, where you're coming from, he goes, you are miserable. Your goal should be, first of all, you're probably never going to become a millionaire doing what you're doing. So your goal should be to be able to pay your bills, but also work with good people. If you're working with good people and people that are good to work with, it's not going to seem like work. And he's right. I mean, here I am talking, smoking a cigar. And that's what, my daughter's 15 years old. She, I go home, I love her. She'll ask me how my day was. I'm like, oh, I did this. She's like, really? That's what you do for work? Really?
Yeah.
And she's right. I always say it's not roofing in July. It's not breaking rocks. It's not, it's my bad days are still better than some people's good days. So I'm very, very blessed. And
amen.
All that jazz.
So Nick, take it a step back. I mean, you said you worked retail for, 10 years.
Yes.
In the cigar industry?
That's correct.
Okay. So take us back even before that. And this is kind of a question we've always asked everybody. What was your first foray into cigar smoking? What was your first cigar? Or what was your first memorable?
Parodi Amazzatis.
Mm.
My old man smoked them. My great-grandmother came over from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a long-winded answer to a simple question.
We got time.
My great-grandmother came over from Italy because I guess she was in an arranged marriage, so the family story goes, and she didn't want to marry the guy. She was 16, so she snuck out of her room by herself. She had been writing to a cousin who lived in America, and she didn't know at the time, is America a city? Is it a town? She had no concept. But he's saying, "Oh, I'm in America. You should come visit me." So she wound up in Pennsylvania, wandering around. The Amish took her in. So she ended up meeting this guy who was a coal miner. She had 9 kids. My grandmother remembers, she used to tell me, she remembers growing up in an Amish village when she was little. So my family is Italian from Pennsylvania. So contractually, we just had to smoke peyote Amazatis. My father smoked them. His father smoked them. He used to call them camel turds. He would say the reason he smoked them is the only thing that would stay lit when he rode his Vespa. Not to sound like an Italian stereotype, but, So that was the first, my first intro to, obviously smoking at the legal age, of course.
Yeah. No.
But,
so again, that's the question. So did you smoke it with your dad's knowledge or with your dad? Or
with my father. I mean,
Okay.
you could have made the argument that, so my father was into real estate. And I remember, starting at the age of like 7, if it would snow, he'd have to go, he plowed his own buildings, and it would be 2 a.m. I'd be dragged out of bed on like a Tuesday school night. And while he was plowing, I had to shovel the steps and the sidewalks and all that. I think I was like 9. And I asked him one night, because he'd smoked the peyotes with the windows up. I asked him one night if he could put the window down. I've never seen a look of shame on my father's face. So I knew after that not to ask. You make notes. Okay, don't ask to lower the window. So, I was kind of raised on peyotes.
Okay.
All right.
What was your, when you got into the cigar industry, obviously you rep a few different cigars, but
Yep.
What are some of your go-tos that maybe even the ones you don't carry that, man, if I walk into a place and they've got it, I'm going to smoke it?
I feel like there's a pendulum where you start off and everyone typically starts off milder, or you start off with a flavor infused. And thank God for those companies, because if it wasn't for them, we'd have 50% less smokers. And then as you gravitate, you step up, and then there comes to a phase, I call it the adolescent smoker phase, where you just want the heaviest thing in the world. You just want Tabasco sauce. You just want to, I don't need to taste my food. My food. My wife's cooking's awful. Fuck it. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear on this, but
You swear. Let it
and
go,
then
man.
if it's not
Fucking
heavy,
let
it's
it go.
not for you.
Yeah.
But then you either buy a sample pack or there's an event and you try something that is almost forced upon you, because if it's not black as midnight, you don't want it. Which only in the United States do we look at the wrapper of a cigar and say, well, that equates to strength. But to me, some of the cigars that got me to start gravitating back to the mild, back to the medium, flavorful cigars I don't rep, like Regis. Regis, just their core line, that black label cigar is a great mild cigar that, when I was smoking heavy, I overlooked it. I still like heavy. I smoke an Espinosa Crema every morning, which I do rep, not to be biased.
It's a great stick.
They're phenomenal.
They are great.
But to me, the cigars that stand out are the cigars that I overlooked. And then I went back and smoked and there's something here. Casa Magna used to do one, the Dominus Magnus. Those were fantastic. But yeah, I think there was one, Monte Pascual, which was out of business now. They were out of Brazil. It was 100% Brazilian Matafina Puro. And it was the most straightforward cigar, but it was delicious. It was like, I'm dating myself, it was like $5.99 back in like, about 2012, 2010. And I'd put it up against a core line Padron, the Padron 1000 series. It was just, it checked all boxes.
Wow. Now, you said they went out of business. I mean,
They did.
Did they turn into anything? Did anybody pick it up and run with it?
We were, when I was in retail, we were actually trying to get the rights to a smaller cigar that they did, but we were told that the government went out on the dock with axes and just trashed everything. So I know Brazil is very, very tough on tobacco.
Yeah.
And every time there's an election year, which is every 2 or every 4 years, everyone that runs platform is, I'm going to be tough on tobacco. So I don't believe they're still around.
That's tough.
Interesting.
That's tough. Tell us about what we're smoking today. I mean, you're kind enough to share something with us.
Yeah, it's nice. We actually had Renair on an episode probably
Okay.
3
months now.
At
4
least.
months?
Yeah, right.
So now your listeners can go back and contrast and compare and make sure I'm not making shit up, and so I'm screwed.
No, yes.
Okay.
No. What, Nick, Nick, we're not. He is. But
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You should have told me this wasn't going to be on video. I would have brought a cheat sheet with me or something. This is the HVC. It's the 500. So this cigar came out to celebrate the 500th anniversary of the founding of, I want to say, Havana, Cuba. Not Cuba in general, but the city of Havana.
Mm-hmm.
It's... HVC, to me, at least I think in the Northeast, is known for the heavier stuff. Their hot cakes, Maduro.
Yep.
I know you guys are doing well with the limited broadleaf.
That thing is fantastic.
They're flavor bombs. This one I like because it's off the beaten path of what I think they normally do. It's got Corojo 99. It's got Jalapa binder. It's got Criollo 98 and Corojo 99 filler, all Nicaraguan. It's... not to use the same term I just used 3 minutes ago. I'm running out of terms, but it checks all boxes for me.
Yeah.
It's if you like mild, it's easy going enough for you.
This is definitely.
If you like heavy, it's got enough flavor.
Yeah.
It's a buy the box, bring it to your family for Thanksgiving. Doesn't matter what your family smokes, they're going to like it, no matter.
Yeah. It's very. I'd consider it full flavor, medium body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would probably love this in the morning with a cup of coffee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a easy smoke. It's not going to hit you too hard. You can just rock back and enjoy it.
And it's funny you said the 500th anniversary. The band is like some Cuban bands that you've seen.
It's a nod to it.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So the owner, and I'm sure he told you, came to this country in 2008 from Cuba.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally living the American dream. He's, for somebody that was born and raised in Cuba, he's the most American person I know. He's a hard worker. There used to be a time that the harder you worked and the more educated you made yourself, the more successful you were. And it's good to see that still.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his story is fantastic. So anyone that hasn't listened to it, go back and find the episode we did with Renier, because it's a hell of a show. And just listening to his voice and him tell a story is
that
awesome.
That was a good one.
And like the names of the cigars, the sizes. I'm going to butcher it because I sound like the mayor from The Simpsons. And when he says it, he sounds, he's with his accent, it sounds like poetry. It sounds sounds like a butterfly flying elegantly across the room. And I just butcher it. This is the Poderosas. It's no one wants to hear that.
What? Ponderosa?
Well, whatever.
Used to be a restaurant, right?
Yeah, I think had the Christmas tree logo and the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah. Cap, you did mention having this with a cup of coffee, which I think is pretty awesome. I think it would pair really well. But we're drinking on some bourbon.
We are.
What are we drinking?
So,
because I'm just putting it in my face and I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, so we're having a Redwood Empire. This is the Lost Monarch. It's a cask strengths bottle. New to me. You're trying it new just like I am.
Yep.
Redwood Empire actually has a few different bottles that are out there.
I have one at home.
Kind of talking about it. They got a lot of good stuff. And this one, it's uncut and unfiltered. So you're kind of getting a more straightforward expression out the barrel. And this is aged at least 3 years. So
it doesn't seem too heavy. What's the proof on that?
Oh, this'll get you. You'll go to jail if you're driving this fast. It's 117.2.
Okay, and that's higher than I thought it was going to be.
Doesn't drink 117.
It also goes good with a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
HBC does not condone.
But if you don't start early, you can't go all day.
Views expressed on this podcast.
So, Nick, how far does your travels take you? I mean, do you have a specific geographic territory you cover?
I do. So I do the Northeast, which is New England. I do upstate New York. I don't do Long Island. I don't do the city. I feel like it would spread me a little bit too thin, which gets confusing when you pick up a new company and you're trying to explain. So basically, I do the Northeast, but I don't go south of Albany, if that makes sense.
Okay,
That makes sense. Yeah.
Sure.
And you decide what territory you're actually going to rep and go into.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. So different companies, there's not a uniform territory in the cigar industry. So some companies will have somebody that goes all the way up to Connecticut. So I've had companies before in the past, I'll have that same territory, but I won't have upstate New York and Connecticut. Or I won't have Connecticut. I'll have upstate. So it depends on the company, but I want to say all except for one, I have those territories. One actually cuts Connecticut in half horizontally.
Oh,
So sometimes I have to look at a map, and I'll forget because I'll walk in and be like, "Hey, just checking on this for you," and they're like, "Oh, you're not my rep. I thought so and so," and they can start panicking. I'm like, "No, that's right, my bad. Where are we? What longitudinal line am I at?"
You just change gears. You're that important. You're getting 2 reps for the price of 1.
It's essentially with Connecticut. Really, you have to look at the TV. Football season helps.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Yankees or Red Sox.
Yeah, or if I walk in and the Patriots are on, I know, okay, this is my territory. If Giants are on, I'm like, oh, I'm in Southern Connecticut.
Pretty much. Now, how many brands do you rep?
Right now, I have, I believe, 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have my own, too.
I was going to get to that.
Yep.
You have your own cigars. Tell us a little bit about your own cigars.
Yeah, it's just something that fell into my lap. My buddy Brian Mottola, who is with Cavalier, and he jumped on board and bought in with them when they built their own factory. And he was always one of my biggest fans. He always used to joke and say, Nick Goss is my favorite brand in the cigar industry. And I didn't have a brand, but I have fun with stickers and whatever keeps me out of trouble on the weekends. So he bought into this factory. He said, well, now I have a factory. So now we can actually make you a product for this brand you've been promoting.
Created.
So we started doing that. And same thing. I did a limited through Cavalier a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago now, to kind of test the waters. And it was a little 10 count. I think I made 300 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
It was received well. It was rated well. And more importantly, it turned on the shelves well. So at that point, we decided, shit. Again, let's do it, and we'll try it for a year. And if it doesn't go well, I'll add it to my resume.
There you go. Now, did you do the whole blending of your cigar as well?
Yes and no. I don't pretend to know anything about anything. It's every time I go down, I learn more and more.
Okay.
But for the first couple, I like to say, so the factory's FCT. I'd say, it's kind of like what was the shake and bake commercials? Mom made shake and bake chicken. I helped. So the first couple, it was kind of like that, but it's great. They lay out all the tobacco and you roll up a little puro of everything that they have access to. Now, if it's a limited, it's everything they have. If it's a core line, it's everything that they have that they can easily get continually. And you smoke this, and you say, oh, I like that. And then you smoke this, and you say, I like this part about this one. And then you put it together. And unlike food, you think like, okay, well, I know what butter tastes like. I know what corn tastes like. I know what butter on corn tastes like. Well, tobacco is nothing like that. So I said, well, geez, my first cigar, I want this, I want that. I want this, I want that. Put them together. I'm smoking it. And it's terrible. And their factory manager at the time, Raul, is laughing his ass off. And they translate for me. He goes, you have no potato. What? You're like at a potato buffet, and you have nacho cheese and bacon bits and sour cream, but you have no potato.
You need a base.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting better as it goes.
Okay.
But I don't pretend to, all of a sudden somebody gets their own cigar company and they become, I'm a master blender. Well, what makes you that? Did you take a course? Some people, God love them, were raised in factories and raised in farms.
Yeah.
Sure, no one's going to give them shit for saying that, but you see a lot of people that I came up with my own brand and now I'm a master blender. Huh? Just be honest with people. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going down there. I'm learning. I'm putting things together. I know what I like. And I say, okay, well, shit, let's try this one.
What about your latest limited edition that came out?
Yeah, the Frightened. The frightened by this thing I've become.
That was the name of it?
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be heavy. I let it sit too long.
But people really love that cigar.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I made 350, 13 count boxes. So funny story, and I didn't realize this until, I think Kevin at Buttheads pointed it out. So the name is Frightened by This Thing I've Become. And I put down all the artwork, all the wording. You have to, here's the 6 sides of the box. This is what I want here. All right, well, send me the files on that. Send me the artwork here. So this was my own fault. You got the big cover of it that says Frightened by This Thing, with the weird kind of horror-looking red letters. And on the side of the box, because I know from retail, you put a box up on the shelf, on the top shelf for backstock, and you're looking at it, you have no idea what the hell it is. So I want to say the name on the side of the box, too. and I got my own damn cigar. I got the name wrong. So if you look at it, and it was already too late. The boxes were made.
Yeah.
I don't give a I don't give a care. Again, try not to swear.
No, let it fly. We're explicit.
Don't
So
be
the
shy.
front says frightened by this thing I've become, and the side says frightened of this thing I've become. And it was my own damn file. I sent them the files. I did the artwork. So you
just
can
a
call,
little oversight.
you can call it both ways.
Okay.
I responded to worse.
Just frightened.
Yes.
Just frightened.
But that was my first time using Ometepe. That's got a similar tobacco in it from the Hot August Night, but instead of a Seco, I went with a Lajero in the Paraguay tobacco. But I smoked it. It was supposed to be a lot heavier. And the marketing shows it like it's going to be a heavy cigar. You expect to get slapped around. And when I was smoking it there, and they're like, well, we're going to let it rest. I said, sounds great. And then it shipped. I'm all excited. I go to the shop closest to me, and I buy one off the shelf, and I smoke it. And it's a really nice, well-rounded medium, which is great. But that's not what I fucking blended. It's the same tobaccos.
Yeah,
I wasn't accusing anyone of it. It's the same blend. I
Right.
could tell, but it was definitely
It just mellowed out as you were
Mellowed.
sitting.
yeah. So I apologize if anyone was misled by the
Well-
punk rock scary 80s or horror movie
Lessons
graphics.
learned.
Yes,
So, Nick, you have a unique style too.
I do.
You do. I mean, what's the evolution of that? Because
It's supposed to. I'm not very good looking, so it's supposed to distract you from my face.
good
And I
job.
find if people aren't looking at my face, I do better
Cap, take
sales
notes.
wise. No, I have fun. I've always, crafted and done different stuff. Lately, the past couple of years, I've been doing different jackets. This one I'm actually wearing is a work in progress. I went to the Brimfield flea market and I just got more patches and pins. But I call it half-ass crafting. Sometimes I'll go to the craft room in my house and I'll paint a picture. Or I just made a birdhouse for my mother's for Mother's Day. But if I work on a jacket, if it's 11 o'clock at night and I get home and say, well, I still have energy, still want to feel productive, but I'm not going to go turn on the lights in the craft room and start a new painting. I get a jacket and I also want a patch. So I call it half-ass crafting.
Half-ass crafting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of half-ass crafting lately. So I've seen more and more jackets and different stuff like that.
But I think that's one thing that everybody associates Nick with too. I mean, each event that I've been to that you've done, you did, the T-shirts with the spray paint.
Yeah.
You did, the dog tags. You did things. But I think everybody kind of anticipates, hey, what's next? I mean,
Yeah.
and also, tying it in with the cigars is cool. I had the T-shirt and I wore it around. I mean, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, this is cool. I mean, like his cigars, and it was just a
Well, I
cool
didn't,
piece of art.
I didn't know people felt that way. Now I feel an immense amount of pressure. Thanks a lot.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Now I got to come up with something for the next time. and
Exactly.
You could be
Yeah.
clothing
Reinvent
design.
myself like Madonna.
Like a virgin?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm from Leominster, Massachusetts. There's not many virgins.
Anymore.
We have a saying in Leominster: if you see a prostitute with all her teeth, it's a cop.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
and the wheels are coming off.
I don't know how to segue from that one.
Yeah, where do we go from there?
No, going back to your half-ass crafting.
Yes.
Like, have you always kind of been like creative and kind of into that?
I've tried to have fun with it. And it's funny. The people that really know me know it started off like as a joke. The people that don't know me are like, oh, that guy's really full of himself. Jesus, he's wearing a jacket with his own face on it. The hell's the matter with? But it started off as a joke.
Mhm.
And then it just kind of grew and grew. And that's, hence the name of my new limited cigar, Frightened of This Thing I've Become, is getting weird now. It's getting really, really weird.
But that kind of crafts into your brand. You're so unique. You're so
You say unique or eunuch?
either works.
Okay.
So you're so
We don't judge.
yeah, we don't judge, but you're so forward with it,
Yes.
and as Dave was alluding to, we all kind of look forward to what's the evolution of Nick? What's he gonna do next? What is next?
There was it Family Guy? One of the famous Family Guy flashbacks, and they show Tom Green. And he's laying on his back and he's drinking the milk straight from a cow.
Yep.
And he looks at the camera, he breaks the fourth wall and goes, "Can I stop? Do you guys like me yet? Please? I'm very tired. Can I stop now?
Yeah.
So have you gotten a cow?
Not yet. Not yet. But soon.
We'll bring the camera for that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We have a paper mache shark. I'm going to jump it on a four-wheeler in the parking lot later.
Nice.
Now I could be wrong, and like I say, I'm hoping I don't get people confused. But listen. I mean, when you talk to somebody and they're, am I correct in saying that you actually have multiple degrees?
You mean for what?
Schooling?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this kind of goes to show it's not just the guy that was brought up in the cigar industry thing. So
both my parents growing up were teachers. My father did real estate for most of my life, but when he met my mother, he was a teacher, and she was a teacher. She's retired now, but she did first, second, and third grade. And so we really pushed lifelong learning.
That's awesome.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm 18. I tried to tell my daughter, I said, listen, when I was growing up, nobody told you can do more than one thing. It was, what do you want to do when you grow up? Oh, Jesus, I know that's a big commitment. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my father's had a warehouse with his office right next to the high school. So I'd walk home, and he'd pop his head out the window and yell at me to get in there to work. Oh, shit, okay. I thought my day was over. But when it came time to start applying to colleges, I told him, I said, Dad, I don't know what I want to do. Oh, well, that's no problem. We'll just apply to every school we can, each with a different major. Oh, good.
Okay.
So I applied.
Rolling the dice.
I applied
Nice.
to 11 different colleges, each with a different major. The two I didn't get into, to kind of give you a spectrum of the bell curve. I didn't get into Rhode Island School of Design, their loss,
They're lost.
Exactly.
and I
For
didn't
sure.
get into Bentley School of Business. I wound up originally going with Northeastern. I graduated 2002, and it was post 9/11. Northeastern Criminal Justice. It was close to home in Boston, and I figured they had a wide array of different degrees. So if I didn't like criminal justice, I could change my major without having to change schools. And I got out with my criminal justice. Well, I had transferred. My father got sick, not to make it more. I had transferred to back then it was Fitchburg State College. Now it's Fitchburg University to be closer to home. I got out with my criminal justice degree, and there was no intermediate. It was, well, you can be a mall security guard, GED, no experience necessary, or, geez, the CIA is looking for somebody, but we really need 10 years of military service, and we need you to be fluent with, a representative accent in these 4 different languages. And it's like, oh. So when I was looking, I was like, all right, well, the most, I also got a minor in psychology by accident, by the way, because again, pseudoscience. And I met with my advisor. She's like, did you mean to get a minor in psychology? No, but it's pseudoscience.
There you go.
So then what I found was the biggest bullshit degree was an MBA. Everyone, even chief of police, they were looking for MBA because you run it like a business, and you could apply that to anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to school. I think my daughter's mother was pregnant with her at the time. I was working 2 jobs, and I finished my MBA in about a year and a half. And again, that's a bullshit degree. I mean, it's a great degree, but you can apply it to, you have a lemonade stand? Well, I have an MBA. Oh, you guys make shoelaces? Well, I have an MBA. Oh, you're looking for chief of police? Well, I have an MBA. It's applies to everything. And then I decided to use that by working at a cigar store part-time. That led to full-time. That led to management. I left there, and I started this, and yeah.
So I'm curious about that little transition from getting an MBA to cigar retail.
Yes.
Were you already
I was already
into the scene?
I was
into
already
cigars?
working at the cigar shop. At the time, I was doing, I think, 40 hours a week. And again, now I have a kid on the way, and it's wintertime. Things slow down in the winter. We had a lounge, but it was kind of an afterthought. So I show up one day, and instead of 40 hours, it's 39 hours. Oh, okay. And then that goes 39. And then I show up one day, and it's 37 hours. And I talk to the owner and say, listen, I know it's 3 hours. I know it's slowed up, but understand that's 12 hours a month. That's my car payment. Is it going to stay like this? Or, well, unfortunately, that's okay. I said, listen, I'm still very happy here. I'm going to have to find out a way to make up that money. So I'm going to be looking for something else. I still want to stay here. I'm not leaving. I'm not disgruntled. I get it. So then I started working for, a very up-and-coming industry, a booming industry in the U.S., a newspaper.
Those are very relevant right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I managed the Fitchburg, Leominster, Sentinel, and Enterprise from 11 p.m. to like 8 a.m.
Graveyard.
And that's when I started going for my MBA. And then I cut back to 25 hours at the tobacco shop. Eventually, the owner's brother, who was managing it, was leaving. He said, listen, this is what I can do for you. He's leaving. I want to make you a manager. I know you're going for your MBA. And this was around, 2008. I think the economy crashed. People were at each other's throats. You saw former business executives working at the Orange Julius at the mall. People were at each other's throats for hours. He says, I know you have the other job. This is what I can do. I think the position would be about, it's a salaried position. And that salaried position, I'd expect you to do about 45, 50 hours. So he broke out a calculator. He goes, that's what he goes, but I'm not paying you hourly, but imagine we're looking at that much. I can let you do up to 70 hours. And he goes, if you're doing 70 hours, that's where I can pay you salary. So someone's offered me 70 hours in 2008. I jumped in, hook, line, and sinker. So I was very, very grateful and very kind of lucky for that.
Yeah.
Then I managed it. And when I left, here I am.
But I think that roundabout way from where you started the creativity, if you think about being creative and how you went to school, how you approach things, the creativity is still here today, and it's just in different forms.
It was kind of funny. You said the two schools you didn't get into were the business school and RISD.
Yep.
The design school. And here you are designing your own clothing and designing all kinds of shit.
And running a business.
What are you going
to do?
It's just funny how the universe kind of put all that together.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I like it.
When did you stop smoking, your intro cigar and really get into the scene and get into different cigars?
Me, my buddy, and a couple of our friends got into cigars. Back then the age was 18. And honestly, again, more of a gateway, the Rocky Patel Edge. We were on that point where we want heavier and heavier, and that was a groundbreaking cigar. I'll tell you, this guy, I've never worked for Rocky. He's done a lot of great stuff for the industry.
For sure.
But nobody that I know of in the history of cigars has caught lightning in a bottle in that short amount of time. He came out with the vintage series, the 90s and 92s, the Edge, and the Java, all in the same year. 20 years ago, probably more than 20 years ago, and they're all still staples in every retailer's humidor.
Yeah.
So it was the Edge. We thought, again, we're poor 18-year-olds. And I think it was Timmy Ganos told us, he was managing the shop, and he told my buddy Armin, he's like, listen, if you guys get 20 of these, I'll give you a special price, which is a box, but this used to come in the 100 count. But we thought oh shit. So I remember it was like an hour and a half before the Super Bowl, and the shop was like 45 minutes away. And we were like, shit, we don't have cigars. So we all went up there, speeding up 13. And so we'd all, I'll get 5, he's getting 5, he's getting 5, he's getting 5. And we got a special, $1 off a cigar.
Yeah.
Back then it was $4.99 a cigar, for God's sakes. So instead of $25, it was like $21, and we were tickled pink. So we rode the Rocky Patel Edge for quite some time, and that kind of opened everything up for us.
Very cool.
That's outstanding.
Nice.
Yep. Again, I just, like I said, I appreciate you sharing. I mean, I said I didn't mean to throw you a curveball, but I was just like,
right.
I knew the creativity had to come somewhere, and what little bio I kind of caught up on, I wanted to ask that.
Absolutely.
So in terms of the creativity, and we know you like to create, evolve, and do things forward, anything in the hopper? Is there a new Goss in the way?
I was working on one. I'm not sure when I'm going to pull the trigger on it. There's a lot up in the air right now.
Don't let it age too long.
No, exactly.
Remember your grammatical spelling.
There's nothing.
Copy paste.
There's nothing really in the industry for smaller cigars. I'm not saying small, but I was with a company who I won't name, but their second best-selling line, and they were a bigger company, their second best-selling line was a series of smaller cigars that they did in a Habano and a Maduro. And they didn't get behind it, and they didn't push it. In fact, let's say if I called on Bill and he said, yeah, this is what I want these, and that was the only order, was this one line, and I put that in, I'd actually get reprimanded. I get called up and yelled at, what do you mean that's all they want? But there's nothing really to compete with it. There's a couple. But other than that, nobody seems to get behind it. I'm sure there's reasons. I'm sure as soon as I get into
what
the
size range?
You're looking at like 3.5 by 50s. You're looking at
okay.
4.5 by 48s. Things like that. Good. I call them car ride smokes.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% sure on the name. I'm still not sure if the blend's right or when I'm going to pull the trigger on it. But I do, almost selfishly, I do want to come up with a second core line. Because A, I think it will do well, which is the most important.
Yeah.
And B, it kind of adds a legitimacy to my brand and I'm thankful for it. But people say, oh, this is Nick Goss, and this is Nick Goss's cigar. And we carry it because we like Nick Goss. But I think if I come up with a second core line, then that makes it like a real boy. Like now it's actually a thing. It's not just, we like him, we want to support him, this is a cigar.
People are
It's not a novelty.
If people buy it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like to do next. I don't know if that's going to be the next thing that comes out or what, but that's
the next thought.
What's on my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see any trends right now, like in the cigar business? I know, we mentioned, like Jalapa, the San Andreas is a nice hot one now. Is there like a certain strain that you see that's becoming more prominent, or maybe even a region? I hear Honduras is hot, or Costa Rica. Like
Honduras has definitely been picking up, I think, in 5 years. I think, I'll back up a little bit. I think 10 years ago, if you had a boutique cigar and you wanted to be successful, it almost had to be from Nicaragua. I think in 5 years, you're not going to be pigeonholed to that. I'm not going to say Honduras is going to overtake Nicaragua, but
they're going to be a player.
It's going to be more accepted. You're not going to have that face, oh, this is a boutique cigar. I haven't, well, where's it from? And if you say anything other than Nicaragua, the consumer has like a look on their face, like, I think Honduras will become more accepted. They have a lot going on. It's really a great environment. It has really bad PR.
Mm-hmm.
I go down to Danley, I'm walking down, I am gringo that, honestly, when I'm in another country, even at the airport, I'm like Mr. Bean. I don't speak Spanish very well. I'm just the stupid gringo that's walking around, people are staring at him like, yeah, he's harmless, just let him go. Just let him do his thing. But I'm walking around Danley at 1, 2 in the morning, and it's completely safe. I feel more safe there than I do in Fitchburg, Mass, for God's sakes. Has a really negative view, but when you're there, you're like, oh, this is great. This is
okay.
So I think they need to work on their PR. But other than that, I think you're going to see Honduras coming up. Another thing that you're seeing is a lot of limited cigars, which is a spiral. And there's definitely, on one end, if I'm a new cigar line and I come out and I have this, here's my core stuff. Unless you're already established, unless you're Ashton, or unless you're Oliva, or you need to come out with something to keep your brand fresh. Coming out with a limited cigar is almost more powerful marketing than it is the sales that you get from that cigar.
Well, if you think about it, limited puts a sense of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
People think if it's limited, I got to get it because it's not going to be offered. And it may not be a great cigar, but if you like that line, but again, it's more marketing because I think that connotation of, I can't be like, FOMO.
You have to try it.
Fear of missing out, FOMO.
And as a dirty cigar broker, it gives me a talking point. Let's say I have nothing limited. Let's say I'm representing one company and it's my call day and I call Bill and there's nothing new that's out. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Hey, what's up, Nick? Oh, just checking in. Good. How's that one company I rep going? It's going okay. You need anything? No, I should be good right now. And there's really no talking point. If you have a limit, you have a reason to call. Hey, Bill, we're coming out with this. Should be shipping in about a month or so. We're taking pre-orders now. We made this many boxes. You're eligible for it. Let me know. And it keeps that brand in the retailer's mind.
Right.
It is an advertisement for the consumer. So on the other end of the spectrum, if you do too many of them, it gets watered down. And it's almost like, I'm the least political person, so this is not a political statement. It's almost like global warming. The community of the cigar community understands if everyone comes out with a limited every week, it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But no one's going to come forward and be like, we're going to be the company that doesn't come out with a limited to solve that issue for everyone.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the limit, like you said, limiteds are good for marketing, for getting the name out, getting the word out, and creating that urgency.
Mhm.
But if you don't have something that they can go back to and buy consistently,
Yeah.
you're screwing yourself, right?
You're like a one-hit wonder.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the first cigars I ever blended were limited cigars. And when you do something that's limited, you want it to be something off the beaten path, outside of the bell
Mhm.
curve. Again, I'm running out of sayings. You want it to be something that someone's going to smoke and say, wow, this is different. Hey, Bill, have you had this? You should smoke this. This is different. You want to be the breakfast morning conversation. And then it came time for me to blend my core line. And you have to think kind of bass-ackwards. You have to think like, okay, what are the cigars by the box that sell the best? Well, you have Romeo Reserve Real. You have, Perdomo Champagne. You have Oliva G.
Mm-hmm.
All cigars that you don't smoke and say, this is the next greatest thing. But they're there. And
They're consistent, they're
dependable.
go-to, yeah.
I could smoke. I've always said, again, I've never rep Oliva G or Oliva.
Mhm.
I've always said Oliva G is probably the only cigar I could buy a box of it and smoke 20 of those cigars straight without ever getting bored, without ever having to be like, no, I've already had an Oliva G. I got to switch it up.
Right.
So when you do a core line, you like I said, you're thinking bass-ackwards. You have to say, all right, well, what can I blend that's good and consistent but doesn't stand out? Isn't gonna,
It's going to stick in the back of your mind,
Yeah.
like, like the chorus of that catchy fucking song that no one ever wants to admit that they like, but it's always in the back of your head.
It's like I saw an interview with Saturday Night Live where they were saying, well, how is Saturday Night Live now different than it was 30 years ago? And they said, well, we can't offend anyone. We have to write jokes that everybody at home watching TV will find funny.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be, you watch a Netflix special and it's oh God, it was funny, but that's going to offend this group of people. That was funny, but this is going to, it has to be something that everyone as a community is going to like, which is a weird way of putting it, but it's.
No, it makes sense though.
Mhm.
It's got to be palatable for the masses.
Like
Yeah. You want to stand out from the crowd, but not be too far away from the center that you're an outcast.
I'm going to tie it all back. Ready?
I'm ready.
Much like this HVC 500.
Attaboy.
Yeah, there we go.
Which checks all boxes. If you like heavy, it's flavorful for you. You're going to enjoy the cigar. It might even make you grab something that maybe you've overlooked. If you like mild, it's going to be easygoing for you.
Mhm.
He's concerned about the owner listening to this thing.
Yeah,
I brought it back. I brought it right back.
Yeah.
Right when you think I'm out. They go, "Pull me back."
Now, what about gauge and size? Do you think, like, just to take your core brand or whatever?
Well, I'm told size doesn't matter, but I think that's a lie.
It definitely is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
All right.
I agree.
I've been told to my face it's a lie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
My therapist said, let it go.
So to me, what I see in the market, at least in the Northeast, and I always say that because I'm not in Texas selling, I'm not in California. Toro, 6x60, Robusto, pretty much in that order. Those are the three. When I came out with a core line, that's what I made. And then I looked at it, and two reasons made me add another one. I said, well, the whole thing's 6 facings. If it's an 8-foot shelf, it doesn't take up the shelf. And also, I need one for me. I like smaller in gauge. So I came out with, for all extensive purposes, a short Churchill, which is a 6.5 by 48. But anything with the word Churchill doesn't seem to sell anymore. I don't know if what happened to Churchill or why people. So I called it a Lonsdale Deluxe.
Oh,
Okay.
I
there
like
you go.
That's
the,
okay.
the one we're smoking. To me, my perfect cigar is a 6.5 by 46. The one we're smoking is a 5 5/8 by 46. It's not a coincidence. This is the one we're smoking. I'm selfish.
All good. All good.
Yeah.
And I find when the ring gauge gets smaller, you can squint and pretend like you're Clint Eastwood. And that works too.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Makes it a little fun.
Welcome to hell.
Well, it's fun because I do think the big ring gauge has kind of had its day. Like it was
Yeah.
really hot for a while. Even myself, I was smoking a lot of big ring gauges, 6x60s and whatnot. And I find myself going back to your standard Robustos, Toros.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Smaller
that's
stuff.
like this. Now, flavor does change with ring gauge, or at least it does for me.
Yes and no. I'm gonna.
If they blend it right, it doesn't.
It depends.
This is true.
To me, what I found, it depends if the cigar is wrapper driven or filler driven. And it depends on kind of like what you were touching on. I've been with cigar companies that say, listen, these are the percentage of tobaccos that we're putting in it. Blah. And I've been with companies that have been like, okay, it's the same percentage of blends, but the Robusto is smoking different from the Corona. So I'm going to tweak the Robusto so it smokes more like the Corona. Instead of 30% this, I'm going to make it 20% this, and now they smoke the same.
So it's a ratio.
So some companies will purposely tweak the blends to make them all smoke the same. Some companies will leave them as is, and knowing that they'll smoke a little bit different. And again, is the wrapper the primary flavor that you're smoking, or is the filler? So there's ins and outs of it.
Okay.
Is my understanding. I don't know.
Hey, I learn every day, so that's good to know.
I'm also, like I've brought up before, also a bullshit artist, so that could just be... It's a pseudoscience. Yeah.
Listen, let's not discount it. Use your bullshit and call it, you have a BS in an area.
Exactly, in science, in criminal justice.
BS in cigar brokerage.
Yeah.
Fake it so you make it. I made a whole career out of it.
Fucking A. Still living. I'm still trying to decide what I do when I grow up.
Yeah,
Fuck a bee. Nobody fucks a bee.
You saw me at work. I have no idea what I'm doing.
No.
Fake it till you make it.
A lull comes across the crowd.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello. All right. So I saw you come in here with a guitar case.
Yeah, that's my sticker box.
The sticker box.
Yes.
It's shaped like a coffin.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've been desperately trying for years. I picked up Black Label like 6 years ago with the hopes I'd get one of those gothic girlfriends everyone's talking about. Every year at the meeting, I bring that up. I say, guys, I've been with you 6 years now, still no gothic girlfriend. I mean, your cigars are great, don't get me wrong, but part of this was I read Black Label.
Right.
I was expecting a gothic girlfriend.
Yeah, that hasn't worked out yet.
That didn't work. So then I had all my stickers. I need something cool to carry them. And so maybe if I walk around with a coffin-shaped black cigar or black guitar case, maybe still nothing.
Still a coffin.
Yeah.
It wasn't the calling card you were looking for.
It was not.
If you'd have went to Bentley, it would have happened.
Hopefully.
Throw a couple skulls on there. There you go.
Oh shit.
Yep.
No, this is a great cigar.
It is.
By the way,
It
great
is.
choice.
Smokes well.
Yeah, smoking really well.
It makes my job easy.
A lot of flavor coming out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what anybody else is getting off of it, but
It's for a smaller stick too. It's smoking. Rather slow. Like we're 50 minutes into this podcast,
Well,
and I've still got 3 inches.
Yeah,
well, of the HVCs that I've had, I hadn't had this one. So I mean, this is a nice treat. And again, I would definitely buy this again.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
That's how we get you.
Well, and this is one of the core lines. This one's available pretty much all the time.
Yep.
So
I could have come in with the hotcakes Maduro and been like, smoke this, you'll love it. And we've had this before, we love it. No, I'm forcing you to smoke
which
something
I
you
do.
would normally overlook
So
that
Bill,
you're going to fall in love with.
for the people that are listening, this specific cigar, what does this cost?
Off the top of my head, 11.
Yeah. See, so I mean, it's not gonna.
it's
be a
right in
deal
that
breaker.
wheelhouse.
For those people that potentially are new to the cigar world, this would be a great one to sing. It's not gonna,
Not gonna kill you.
no. And I think it would be a nice cigar to try.
Yeah.
We always have them available here at
Yeah.
Blake's.
I compare them all to women. And if this cigar was a woman, it would be the girl next door.
The girl.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
there's
go.
a name for a cigar, my friend.
I didn't teach the class, but I sat in the front row.
Listen,
All right. Since we brought up price, there's actually 2 questions that we like to ask
Okay.
all of our guests.
Mm-hmm.
First one being, let's say you're not in the industry.
Yep.
You're just a regular cigar smoker. You have $10 in your pocket and you're walking into a humidor. What are you buying?
You see, this is hard for me because I get samples. People say, "Oh, you only smoke your own cigars." No, because they send them to me. I'm a cheap SOB. But
That's why I said you're not in the industry.
I remember being in retail, and if somebody came in with a cigar wrap, and say, "I want to show you this new cigar," I'd smoke it. If I liked it, I'd say, then I look at the cost. And I swear to God, I'm dating myself. I swear to God, this is a conversation I'd have. I call it the VSG, the Ashen VSG test. Anything over $7.99, I'd say, okay, it's good. But this cigar's $8.99. Would my customers rather have this or an Ashton VSG for the same price?
That's a good way.
So a lot of the retail with the cigars, I'm trying to think for $10. You're saying one of my companies or not one of my companies?
Anything you.
We're gonna go not one of my companies.
Okay.
So that how come you didn't say my cigar?
Fair enough.
It would be an HVC, of course.
Of course.
Shit, I don't know. What's
You have to ask a lot of questions.
What?
I mean, you can't just give somebody a price.
You know who's been doing good stuff? And he's like a saint down under Oscar. I'd probably grab an Oscar.
Okay.
I'm assuming he has something in that price point.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the Leaf's going for now, but Oscar's really doing good stuff. And I'd buy that. A lot of the reason I buy that is because I want to support him, also because it's delicious.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else.
All right, so let's go a different direction that might be a little bit easier. Is there anything, and this might actually be a little bit harder because you're in this industry and you have access to a lot of stuff.
Oh, I love this question.
Something that you have not gotten to smoke that you're unicorn, something you're looking for that you would die to try.
I don't know. So I know it's a cop-out answer. I know. But so here's what I've noticed in the last 5 years of the PCA. My company is excluded, of course. But I remember going to retail, going to the trade show back in the day when the PCA was the IPCPR. And there was always the thing. What's the cigar? Oh, my God. Everyone would circle it. We're going there. We need to be there day one. We need to get these. There was always the cigar that the retailers were showing up to get at the trade show. And I don't think that's happened in at least 5 years. The last one I remember being the David Ortiz cigar. Again, New England's a little bit biased. But I remember going to the trade show and retail and being like, we have to get there. We have to get the David Ortiz cigar. That's the cigar of the trade show.
The Big Poppy.
And lately, exactly. And lately, there hasn't been...
It's pretty good. Not bad.
It wasn't what I thought it would be. It was milder.
Not bad.
It had a different aftertaste.
For a celebrity cigar.
I sold a shitload of them. Don't get me wrong.
There you go.
But there hasn't been, and it's because we're living in the golden age of cigars. The worst cigar on the market today is still better than something that was out in 1993.
Fair.
This is true.
So there's not much that I've always, but I'm like that. If you said, we're going to handle all your business for you. You get 1 week. We'll fly you anywhere that you want to go in the world. Or you can go see a concert. Anyone you want to see, they're going to come and play just for you. I have no idea. I don't know.
Fair.
I live a lot on a whim. So if there's something, I should try that. Then I go and I do it. So I know it sounds like a cop-out answer.
So let's flip it then.
Okay.
Have you ever lit something up and say, oh, God, I can't finish this? Now, I'm not asking you to name what brand it is.
Unless you want to.
I mean, you certainly can.
Recently, no.
But it has happened.
Of course. We're human, for God's sakes.
Okay, all right.
I'll tell you, there's one company, which I won't name, even though I'm going to say some good things about them, that have been around for a long time, that either hit a home run or completely strike out. I have never had a cigar by this company that I've been like, it's okay. It's pretty good. It's either been like, what the fuck is this? This is incredible. Or it's been like, tastes like battery acid. So they're out there, but.
So let's give you
I'll ask you that one off air.
Okay.
Let's give you an easy
And when I tell you, you'll be like, yeah, I never thought of that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Let's give you an easy question of your line HVC for the people that listen, since we've talking about HVC tonight. 2-part question. You get a new person smoking cigars in the HVC line. Haven't smoked a lot of cigars, or just really trying, what cigar should they try in the HVC line first?
Okay.
And then second part of the question is you get a guy that has smoked a lot of different things, likes a lot of different things, maybe a little bit more of a heavy hitter of a cigar. What cigar should they try?
I'm going to answer almost with the same cigar.
Okay.
So and I hate assuming in the cigar industry, but I'm assuming the new smokers probably had milder things, probably had your Macanudos, your Romeos, maybe an acid. I would show them the Hotcakes Connecticut, because for a Connecticut, it's still milder. But it has a little bit of a zip to it. Not a spice, but there's something it's a good baby step next level up. With the heavier guy, if it was his first HVC, I'd show him the Maduro, not broadleaf, the Maduro
hot cake.
Yes,
yeah,
that's a good stick.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah,
because to me, that cigar is not only one of our best sellers, but that kind of shows the consumer what HVC is all about.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite cigars too.
Yeah.
In
Each
that line.
company I represent, I kind of there's kind of a go-to cigar. Like here, this is if you said, "Give me one cigar that best describes us," this is what I'd show you.
No, great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Fair too.
I had it
we actually
written-
got an answer. Thank you, Dave.
I had it written on my hand, and half the ink smudged off. So I had to pause there for a minute.
What's going to sound really good? No.
No, awesome, man. Thank you for coming down and
It's
sharing
over?
with us.
I'm done?
No,
Oh God!
I'm just saying thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm filling the dead air.
That's
Until
yeah.
one of these guys comes up with another
Yeah,
question.
we appreciate you coming. So
There's a guy in the corner. He's giving me these, putting his finger across the throat.
No one runs this show, as you could tell.
We run it. We run it.
I am very, very surprised, and we're going in a totally different direction. How many people have not seen Starship Troopers?
Oh God, I love that movie.
Thank you. The last 8 people.
I'm one of them.
I
You haven't seen it?
I have not.
You see,
Oh,
it would blow your mind how many people have seen. The last 8 people. I found out a fun kind of fact about Starship Troopers. In the last 8 people I brought up to, they're like, "Oh no, I haven't seen it."
That's like a classic B movie.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
you guys are being quiet. I'm assuming you probably haven't seen it. Maybe you've seen it. Okay.
Boom.
I'm going to tell you this. This is going to blow your mind. It's going to change the entire way you look.
75% of us have not seen it.
So in Starship Troopers, I was reading this thing. I was like,
I'm an
this is-
overachiever.
So Denise Richards' character, right? Carmen. So Carmen becomes Starfleet Command, and at one point, the guy who's the main competition for Rico, who's hitting on Carmen, he shows up and she says, "Oh, look, I replotted our course." And he looks at it and goes, "Wow, look at you. That's great." And they reset the course there. Now, while they're on this new course, where they weren't supposed to be, they bump into that asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
And because of science, though the spaceship moves in one direction, that tilts the asteroid's trajectory, I guess it's a trajectory in
Yeah.
space.
Yep.
$5 word.
And that asteroid is the one that ends up hitting Buenos Aires and creates the entire disaster.
So
So you could make the argument that the evil alien bug planet of Clendathu did not shoot that asteroid at us, but Carmen is solely responsible for that hitting the planet. And the entire movie is her fault.
that does flip it on its axis
Yes, it does.
and also show you that women are the root of all evil.
Yes, yeah. I mean, was that Carlos Santana? I think he said
Evil woman.
Carlos Santana quote.
Yeah.
But not Denise Richards. She's good.
Yes. Though was it Rizzo?
Rizzo?
Rizzo in that movie was pretty cute.
Yeah.
I went to go see that. I was 15.
15.
Me and my buddy's mom had to come and see the movie with us because it was R. And she was like, "Oh, why? Because it's because they're shooting insects. That's stupid. I'll buy the tickets. I'll go with you kids." And like, there's a good 20 minutes of like nude sex scenes, and it was a pretty awkward,
Yeah.
awkward time sitting next to my buddy's mom.
All right. Well, now it's going to be on my watch list.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Maybe
Yeah.
mom can go with you and
Rico's Roughnecks. Huh. You want to live forever, you apes?
oh God. Got what, Michael Ironside in that too?
Oh, it was a great movie.
That is a good one.
It was the worst, at the same time, the worst movie and the best movie of all time.
Two things can be true at the same
The
time.
script was terrible. Well,
No.
you better have a crazy pilot.
Oh, it was cheesy. It was so cheesy. It was cheesy. But it was entertaining.
Mhm.
Starship Troopers. Oh,
We need more movies like that.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
this is a well-rounded
It-
podcast. We talk about cigars and booze and movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like
better
it.
than us.
Who?
It's why there's actually a lot of shit that I haven't seen, which working in film and TV, you'd think I would, but
Yeah.
No.
I've gone
No.
days only speaking in movie quotes.
The ones that are classics. I'll watch them many, many times.
Oh, I'm about to
Same.
really stake my nerddom. So you ever watch that Star Trek episode where they had the aliens that only spoke in movie and TV quotes?
No, I thought that was Transformers, the planet of junk.
No. There's a Star Trek episode where the characters only that was how they functioned and communicated. It was all like movie and TV quotes.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another. I never got into Star Trek.
Oh,
That was saved by Lucille Ball.
it was.
You ever hear the story on that?
That's
No.
a good story.
So after the first season, a lot of people don't know, the first season of Star Trek failed miserably.
Miserably.
They went to cancel it. And Lucille Ball stepped forward and she said, no. This show is a progressive show. It talks about a future where we all live in harmony and we all live together. It had the first interracial kiss.
Yep.
I am 100% for the show. In fact, so much so I'm going to pay for the next 2 seasons out of pocket.
Damn.
Yep.
Wow.
True story.
Yep. I love Lucy.
Wow.
Damn.
And then,
Wow.
Yeah.
and then Kirk bagged the green chick.
Yep. I still like green.
Yeah. You're looking for that gothic chick, but you got the green
Yeah.
one.
Hey, that works.
Yeah.
Green Gothic, is that a thing? Is that
Yeah.
It can be.
Can be.
Hey,
you know.
creativity.
if you dream it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You can achieve it. And listen,
That-
anything's possible in VR.
yeah, instead of baby oil, just put green
Wait,
paint
with
on her.
AI and wow, AI and VR, you're good to go,
Yeah.
man.
The future is a weird and wonderful place.
Oh, God.
My mother, my entire life, has always teased me. She says, you got to do well. I want a really nice nursing home. and as the years go by and technology advances, I go, Ma, that's why I go, VR technology is going to be great. I'll put you in a recliner in the basement. We'll think you're in like Maui. Everything's fine. She does not think that's as funny as I do.
She hasn't experienced the technology yet.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But we'll get there.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Oh, my God. I think that's a good place.
Yeah, I don't know where else to go on that. Man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, Nick,
Yes.
I want to thank you for being on the podcast. with us
Absolutely.
today.
No, thank you.
And I
thank
want
you.
to
Yeah.
thank Lorenzo for making such great cigars.
Like I said, makes
Probably
my
easy for you to
100%.
rep.
Well, I'd say they sell themselves, but I'd be out of a job. So
Sure.
pretend like you didn't
Yeah.
like them, but I convinced you that now that you like them, that way.
Oh, it's all your fault that I'm smoking these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you all say these are great, you don't need a rep, then I'm
Yeah,
gonna be holding
that
the door
doesn't do that.
open
We
with
had
the top.
Lorenzo on and he sold us. So, yeah.
And again, anybody new listening, obviously HVC cigars are available here at Mickey Blake's
Little
Yep.
too much of the bourbon?
establishment. Yeah.
Orange, Connecticut.
There you go.
They know what's good.
We also have a spot in Southington. We don't like Southington.
Yeah.
So-
But
I'm contractually obligated to say I like Southington.
We'll read between the lines there.
There we go.
yeah, you're going to get more love here. Trust me.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you everyone for joining us. Nick, it's been a pleasure.
It's
Thank
been
you.
real.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll have you back soon. Hopefully next time your next cigar comes out, we'll do a
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Most fun I've had
We'll
with my
smoke that.
clothes on since I can remember.
Or maybe after Vegas. Oh, yeah.
There we go. Cheers, guys. Thank you for listening.
Cheers.